$2,000,000.63. General Fund, $233,339.28. Sanitation, $28,128.49. CIP tax, $29,137.94. Waterworks, $104,227.63. Capital projects, $11,670.71. Wastewater, $65,081.81. Tourism, $4,824.58. Gaming, $61,667.19. Parks water, 0. Section 2, the bookkeeper is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $538,077.63, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on September 3rd, 2013, read for the second time this third day of September 2013, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mark?
Mayor, I move we approve this ordinance.
Do I hear a second? Morris?
Mayor, a second.
Questions? Roll call.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business. Second reading of bill number 2013-027, approving the final site plan for the Central Missouri Community Action parking lot on the Kemper Greens development at 385 Ashley Road.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the final site plan for Central Missouri Community Action parking lot, stormwater, lighting, and landscaping improvements on the Kemper Greens development at 385 Ashley Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Mark?
Mayor, I move we approve this ordinance.
Do I hear a second? Morris?
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Evan, you've got your approval to forge ahead. They were anxious to get some things done during the building season, so it looks like you've got your go-ahead. Thank you. New business. First reading of bill number 2013-028, approving the local agency funding contracts for services.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving local agency funding contracts for services, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay. Item B, consider additional street closing requests for the Chamber of Commerce for Festival of Lights on September 12th, 19th, and 26th. You had that request in your packet, and I think Diane Jensen is here. Did you want to say anything? Is this a new feature for Festival of Lights? Could you come to the podium so that everybody can hear?
We have additional bands who want to play, and we wanted to use the street there next to where the sign house was. And then we had someone call and say that he would like to bring horses, little ponies for pony rides, so we thought it would be okay to close the street then all the way, both of those on both sides, because there aren't any big trucks anymore coming out of the bakery. That's why, if you agree.
Okay. Morris?
Diane,
Yes, I'm sorry.
is the ponies gonna be in the streets as well as the band? And
We asked for both sides of the street.
I know, I mean,
Okay,
there's
we're
still,
gonna put we want to put the ponies over by the bakery, and then band over by where Pryor
okay,
used to
on
be.
the other side of Main Street.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
I follow you.
None in the same spot.
Yeah, thank you.
Both sides of Chestnut.
Yes, correct.
That's for everybody.
Maybe we're gonna spread them out.
Morris?
Mayor, I'll make a motion this be approved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Noah? Okay.
And I wanted to point out that the part up here only talks about the east side of Main Street,
Yeah.
and then they added west, and then at the bottom they put both sides, so I want to make
Mhm.
sure everybody knows we're talking about both sides.
Right. Okay. Any further questions or comments? Roll call.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
I do have a question. Yeah, you got your approval. I do have a question for you. I noticed today there were some porta pots delivered. In fact, there were several delivered and set alongside City Hall. Okay.
They're going
Okay.
to
Okay. There were a lot of them. In fact, too many. So we were going to talk to you about that.
we already, we had spots for them all.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. Consider building inspector's request for dangerous building hearing on October the 7th, 2013. You had the notification in your packet. I don't know if anyone has any questions or if Steve Haig has any comments. Earl, you have any comments? It's pretty straightforward, I believe.
Pretty straightforward. A couple of the first two are pretty prominent. Everybody knows about them, so we'll try to work through them. The third one is up there behind Danny Camrick. Has been an issue for a while. We sometimes have service issues with that because the owner lives in California. You can't get delivery through mail, so we had to hire somebody to deliver it. So if that's successful again, we'll get that. And the Riverside, of course, is the fire over there on Riverside that compromised that structure and has since went through a foreclosure sale and so forth, so I'm not sure what's going to come of that, but we're keeping it on our process to try to be sure it comes to some solution.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
So we want to set that for October 7th at 5 p.m.?
Yes. I would entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Thank you, Noah. Second. Okay. Mike seconds it. Roll call.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
I might add, Steve's kind of figured out what it finally takes to move some of these folks. You know, typically Steve sends them a letter, or maybe even talks to them, sends them a letter, gives them 30 days, 60 days. Time we do a paperwork, they get another month or two. Then eventually it comes to here, and you often give them some time. More often than not, nothing happens during any of that period of time. You finally publish a bid in the paper, that sometimes gets their attention. And that's what happened on the last two that we've dealt with lately. One on Santa Fe and one down on Rural Street. One of those got resolved over the weekend, literally.
Quickly.
Bids were due Friday, and they tore it down over the weekend. And
Which one?
the one on Rural
Rural.
Street, or Jackson, or whatever it was.
It's
Yeah.
rural.
And the other one out there on Santa Fe, they've been fiddling around with that for 2 weeks. I think they wore out now, so it's about half gone, but we'll clean it up now. So anyway, so that may be the secret. You bid them, so they finally decide you're serious.
Okay, but we are getting results.
Yes,
That's what we
yeah,
want.
and this is another nice chunk here. We get all those results, so that'll be maybe 6 of them in the course of a few months is not bad.
Yeah. And the one at 800 West Ashley Road is E-Man Motors, in case anybody doesn't know what building that is, which we'll finally have gotten that property all cleaned up, so. Reports of standing committees, Boonville Housing Authority, Morris.
It's a normal meeting. Y'all got the minutes in your packet. If you got any questions, we'll try to answer them, but it's another good meeting.
Okay, thank you, Morris. Reports of city officials, city administrator, Earl.
Yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and put MECO engineering renewal on the agenda again. We discussed it a little bit. I wrote you a memo. Any questions on that, I'll entertain them. I've got feedback, one about a comment about the estimate, and then I think another one today about somewhat the estimate, somewhat maybe we ought to be more diligent in trying to decide whether a bid's a fair price or not, rather than taking a single bid or something. And that might have some merit. I think you have to pick and choose, decide how bad you want to delay the project, because it's going to cost you some time more often than not, and some engineering to redo the whole bid process, so forth and so on. So I think in my memo, I kind of laid out where I think the world's changed a little bit when you first went with this concept. I don't know that it's feasible to move on in its entirety from what we're doing now with MECO. But there are some things you could split off without any burden or problems, I think, if you so chose. But so that's kind of where we are now. I didn't get any real negative comments from anybody, so I assume that everybody's reasonably satisfied. And I think, Scott, I don't know if you added up the number of projects, but you have to admit, in my experience over the last 5, 6, 7 years, how long you been? 11, how many projects? I mean, that's a lot of projects, folks. In fact, I would guess that might even rate up there with towns way bigger than us. I mean, we've done a lot of projects, and each one of them's a potential problem waiting for you. It's not out here in the pasture where you got no conflict with anybody or anything. It's a lot of projects, and I think you have to say as a whole they've went quite well. So.
Okay.
So if anybody's inclined, just to leave it alone, go another 2, 3 years and see where we're at now with some of the sewer and stuff, that's probably a way to go. Or we could narrow the scope a little bit if anybody really wanted to. Not sure there's a lot to gain there either. We could probably do a little amendment and extend it out some period of time that you're comfortable with.
When do you need a decision on this?
I don't think there's any great rush. You know, if you gave me a time frame to renew it, we'd make an ordinance up, an agreement, and bring it back at a future meeting. But if you want to wait and bring it up again, you can do that. I don't think we're starting any brand new projects over the next couple of months, probably.
Well, I don't know where everyone else sits on the council here. I mean, I would be, without hearing any differences, I would agree to extending 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
But I'd like to hear what other council members are thinking if they don't agree with that.
Noah?
No, I agree. I think there's a lot to be said, the history that their company knows about Boonville, that you can't pay for that. I mean, switching in midstream, you know, doing another bid and maybe accepting a bid that might even be cheaper, maybe not be cheaper, but if you accept another company, you lose a lot of history. And you said over 200 jobs in 11 years. I would surmise they probably know quite a bit about our city, probably a lot more than all of us. So
A lot of jobs.
there's a lot of jobs, and it's a lot of history and a lot of experience in our city. So I would agree extending them. You know, the auditor side of me tells me that certainly there's a point where eventually you
Yeah, I
need
think
to
so.
put out a letter and just make sure that we're being competitive and reasonable. But I would certainly pay a little extra for the experience than just trading them off for somebody who's cheaper.
Any other comments? Anyone feel differently? Mark?
Well, I don't have to feel differently, but I would agree that, you know, the experience that they've got and the projects, you know, sometimes you can't buy that anyplace else. So I'm okay with 2 to 3 year renewal as
I make something up, I'll probably lean toward the 3 because of the sewer stuff is still gonna take
Yes.
a while to play out, so. Without objection, we'll prepare something of that nature, and so. One other thing for clarification, if you ever do solicit for new ones, it's not a bid, it's a proposal, you can't ask for price. Your state legislatures have deemed that you can't do that. Because they're professional services. You wouldn't ask your doctor for a price, would you?
Yeah.
Should, but you wouldn't.
I don't think you want to know
So
the
somebody did
answer.
some good lobbying for them and the architect world, so.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you'll get
Okay.
busy on
All
the
right, we'll go on
ordinance.
that.
Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Mayor, I have one more recommendation. Helen Fisher to the Cemetery Board. Gary has talked to her and explained what is required, and she is willing to serve on that board. So if someone would like to make that,
I make a motion that Helen be approved.
thank you. To hear a second?
Second.
Mike, second? Let's take a quick roll call on that.
Livingston,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes?
Young,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Gary, you got a full board on the cemetery now. City Councilor Megan?
I have nothing this evening.
City Clerk, Mary?
Nothing to report.
Miscellaneous? Noah?
I probably should have said something to you before the meeting, because I'm gonna put you on the spot and I really apologize in advance for doing it.
Thank you.
I think, I don't think it'd be right if we went the whole meeting without mentioning Pam Davis's passing. And I know you knew her way better than I did, but certainly from my perspective, there's only a few people that I would say probably advocate as hard or more than she did for our city. And it's certainly a huge loss.
Yes, it is, in many ways, on many levels, and she was a unique individual, and she is having memorial services Friday night at 7 o'clock at Thespian Hall. So, anyway, yeah, it's going to be a big loss, especially for downtown,
Yes.
so. But thank you, Noah, that was a good. Any other miscellaneous? Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Have fun on your vacation, or doing whatever you do.